Hi guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing very well. This is First Pan. I'm a web and mobile developer based in New York City. Welcome to my video series CodeShare React and React Native. Today's agenda is video 1.4 React app to use Redux to render data. As we remember in the last video 1.3, we were experiencing a challenge. When we add the new message, we were able to successfully save to the backend server, but it cannot render right away. We need to refresh. Then we can actually see the new message. Now let's analyze why this happened. So let's say we have a new message in the app. So Forest says, why do we need Redux? Remember, before we click the submit here, in our code, in list message component, the state of the messages is a list of these three messages. And the add message component, the state is user empty and message empty. At the time when submit button is hit, what happens? Add message component state has changed to this new message user forest message body. Why do we need Redux? But the list message component state stays the same. It is still these three messages. So at the time when the new message is saved, this app in this UI can still render these three old messages. We need to actually refresh. Then the list message component go back to the backend server and capture all these four messages and change the status of list messages to four messages, and it will be rendering the four messages. Now we are going to implement Redux to change that. The Redux will provide a mechanism to have a global state so that different component state are stored in a store and can be synced at the time when we create a new message. The list message component also add the new message so that we have four messages to render. So let's just start to make it happen. We start with implement dependencies, npm install. We need Redux and React Redux. At the time, I believe it's npm. Okay, while it is npm installing, we can start working on our codes. So basically, go back to our code to where we were left off last time. So we know we're going to create a new folder at the same level with components and utils. It will be called Redux. So at the root folder, we go to src subfolder. We need to make a Redux folder. And under Redux, we will create four new subfolders. Constants, actions, reducers, as well as store. There's only one store. Okay, so new files. Under constants, we need index.js. Under actions, we need index.js. Under store, we need index.js. Under reducers, we need index.js as well as a file called message reducer. So these are all the files we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so in our folder structure in here we can see under Redux we start with constants. Constant is the easiest, so we just export default messages received. Sorry. Messages received. Great. And in the actions folder, we need to first and foremost import constants from constants, and then we export default messages received messages then we need to return type constant messages received, comma, messages. Okay, so after actions, we will focus on reducers because we may have multiple reducers. So in here, we need first and foremost import message reducer from message reducer and export message reducer. Great. And the message reducer itself needs to import constants from constants our state equals to our initial state equals to list export default state equals to initial state action let updated equals to object assign state, then switch action type. Then we have different cases. Case, constants, messages received, console log, messages received plus JSON stringify action message, and then updated list equals to action dot messages, and then we can return updated. And there is the default case. You can say just return state. So that's it for the reducers. And then we move on to update the store. So in the store, we have a couple of things we need to import. Apparently from REDUX. We import combine reducers, create store, and apply middleware from REDUX. We also need to import components from reducer. We know the component here is the message reducer. Okay. Var store export default. We need to configure store. We also need to current store. Parentheses, the same thing. So in here we just need to return store, and we do more things in here to configure store. Const reducers equals to combine reducers message reducer. Below here we can say store equals to create store, and we use reducers we just combine, and we also apply middleware. and here we can say return store, and our store is ready. Apparently this is reducers. Okay. So now the Redux part is ready, but we need to update our index.js. So import React, the component of component, and we also need to import provider from React Redux, and then import store from, be careful the folder structure, folder, so we're here, okay, the same level of Redux store, then class app extends component, render, as always do, return, as we always do. In here, because we changed to app, so we replace message box with app, and then wrap it up, wrap around message box using provider. Provider. And we have our message box wrapped up. Message box. Message box. Here, store equals to store configure store. Okay, this is ready. So we just want to make sure it doesn't crash. Go back. It says app is but never used in index. So now it works. It doesn't crash, but still, the Redux is not connected with the component yet. If we check here to console log, we see as normal. Still, the component did mount in here in the list of messages. Get the backend results. We need to hook it up with Redux. What we need to do here is import connect from React Redux. Import actions from Redux actions. And in here, we don't need to set state. Instead, we do this dot props messages received, and we use the results. And in here, replace state with props. And then we do const state to props equals to state return messages state message list. And we also need this batch to props equals to this batch. We need to return messages received, messages, this batch, actions, messages received, messages. Last but not least, we need to have connect to hook it up. List the messages. We put state to props. And dispatch to props to finish up our connection between the component and the Redux. And now this is everything we have to do. And okay, results, another typo. It was 13. So this is a typo here. So this should be like this. Now it's correct. So we just need to check, inspect the console log. So you see, the first, there are like two. You see, the console log captured the messages twice. The first one is component amount, which is in here, in the list messages component, which is in here. And the second one, which is more important, message received. This, do you remember, is from our REDUX reducer, which is the message received reducer in here. So meaning we know that our Redux is successfully connected to the list message component, and when the list message component renders these 4 messages, it is from the Redux. So, which means we actually achieve our goal here to connect list message component with Redux to render the data. And in the next video, in 1.5, the agenda will be React app use Redux to update data, to write data, so that at the time when we write the data, create the new message at the back end, the list message component at the same time render 4 messages here instead of 3. So that will be the most fun part of this entire video series. I look forward to sharing it with all of you guys. I hope you enjoy the video today, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.